Yo, what's up, YouTube? This is Mommy Sexual reporting for today. Okie dokie, so in today's video, we are going to once again be having a Madoka Magica topic discussion. And within this discussion, I'm going to be revealing to you guys how I first got into the Madoka Magica series. Now, I'm sure all of us who are here, all of us who are gathered around this little campfire, we all basically have had our different ways that we've gotten into the Madoka Magica series. Maybe some of you got into it because some of your friends told you to go check it out, and maybe you saw like a trailer or an AMV or something just made you want to give the show a shot. So basically, I'm going to be telling you, and once I'm done, I'd also would like to hear how you guys got into it as well too. But so basically, in order for me to really tell you guys how I first got into the Madoka Magica anime, I kind of have to give you a little bit of background as to how I originally got into YouTube. So basically, I started really getting into YouTube, I would say, at around 2011. Now, truth be told, I technically was watching videos earlier than that, but I would say that I didn't really like get myself involved with it, like uploading videos and interacting with people until 2011. And in 2011, I basically I started my YouTube career, so to speak, as an AMV creator. If you don't know what AMV stands for, that stands for Anime Music Videos. So I basically started making those around February in 2011, and I think the first video was like a Bleach AMV. It was like, I think it was Holly Bell versus Toshiro, and I made a couple of others. I pretty much was like really heavy on making anime music videos, I would say, for the first 3 or 4 years of being on YouTube. I would say that I've been making videos from 2011 all the way to 2015. I think I only just recently stopped making those. But yeah, so within my AMV making, I met lots of different other editors who also enjoyed making AMVs, and obviously, if you're a person who likes making AMVs, then chances are you're an anime fan as well too, because AMV stands for anime music video. So I met a bunch of other people. I was in various editing studios and Skype groups. I met a lot of different people as it related to me making AMVs. And at one point, I joined a group on Skype. I believe the group was called SI or something like that or whatever. And within this group, I remember I encountered somebody. Now, granted, I don't remember in too much detail how this came up exactly, but because as you can probably imagine, because of the fact that this is like an editing group, discussions about anime obviously happen within this group, periodically, and Madoka Magica was an anime that kind of came up a little bit. It wasn't any spoilers though, thank God. One thing I can say about Madoka that I'm very grateful for is nobody spoiled it for me. I was able to understand and get all the mindfuck moments without having somebody, tell me what was going to happen or whatever. But yeah, so this was a show that kind of appeared a little bit in the chat, at the time. And also, there was an AMV that somebody from the actual group linked me to. I believe the video in question, I don't know the name of the actual video, but I know that the song was like, Demon! Oh! Champion of the night, man! Oh! Actually, if I can find a little bit of the video, I'm probably going to have it on the screen, or maybe I'll just play it randomly while I'm talking or something like that. But basically, somebody linked me to this video, and if you've never seen or heard of this AMV, I definitely suggest to go check it out. That is probably like one of the best AMVs ever created, period. It's fucking amazing. But yeah, so I saw this video, and I remember my first impression, because obviously at this point I had never watched Madoka Magica. I didn't know shit about the characters or anything. So when I first saw this video, my first impression, because obviously the video is very mommy-centered, like it's very much like fixated on her. So my first thought was, holy shit, who is this chick with the, who's doing all these little crazy stunts with all these guns and whatnot? Like she's like just totally like doing all these like like bullet blast and just really just going crazy. She's basically going trigger crazy in this video, and I thought it was really cool, especially in conjunction with the music, because the person that made the video did such a good fucking job in connecting, you know, her shooting with the music, and you know, it was presented very well. Like I said, if you haven't seen that video, you need to check that shit out. It's so fucking cool. But anyway, so yeah, I watched the video. And at first, you know, like I said, I thought she looked really, you know, awesome doing all her little, you know, escapades with the shooting and whatnot. So there was that, and I think after that, I kind of didn't really think too much about Madoka. Like, it was a cool video, and it made me a little interested in Mami. You know, first time me seeing her, but it wasn't enough to push me to want to actually watch the series just yet. Now, the very next thing that happened, and this is also why I wanted to mention to you guys a little bit about my career as an AMV maker. But yeah, so the very next thing that happened not too long after I saw that video is I used to be a part of an editing studio group. I believe the group was called Lovely Desire MEP, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And you know, I was basically one of the co-leaders of this group, essentially. And as a co-leader, what would happen is sometimes we would make actual MEP signups where we would come up with songs, and we would you know, cut the song in parts and send it to various members of the group. We would come up with a date, and then we all basically would have to, you know, do a part in that song, and then at the end, you know, as a co-leader, I would put the part together, and then I would upload it onto the main channel. So I remember during this time, I was looking for somebody. I was looking for like a really good editor to fill in one of the parts for the actual MEP, and I think, I can't quite remember. I think her name was Phoenix Gal. I can't quite remember it. It's been a long time since all this happened, but because I've actually been into Madoka for like almost 5 years now. But yeah, so it was kind of a while ago that this happened. So yeah, so basically I found this editor. Her name, I think her name is Phoenix Gal or something. And I basically asked her to join the MEP because, you know, I felt she was a really great editor. I still think that way. Yeah, so I asked her if she would, you know, take a part, and she agreed. And it just so happened that she decided to edit Madoka Magica within her part. Go figure, right? Once again, this show that I have yet to see has once again appeared in my life, and just so happens that somebody in my group, somebody who's in the MEP that I made, decided to edit a video with it. It's like, okay. And so she made the part, and truth be told, I was very impressed with it at the time. You know, as I said, she was an editor that I really liked and really admired. You know, seeing her editing, you know, with Madoka Magica, and I'll probably have maybe a portion of the video on the screen, I don't know, or maybe I'll have a link to it in the description. But yeah, so I really liked the MEP part that she did for this anime, or yeah, I really liked it. And let's see. So as you can imagine, because of the fact that, you know, I was in charge of the MEP, I had to kind of go through the parts that were sent to me various times to make sure that, you know, they synced up well with the song and that they looked good, if anything needed to be changed. So I basically had to watch this part that she did, you know, several times for various reasons. And once again, this particular MEP part is centered around Mami. Just like how the first video that I mentioned, the Dayman video, was centered around her, this MEP part was once again centered around Mami. Is that a coincidence? I have no idea. So as you can imagine, I pretty much had a chance to, you know, focus and think about her again. And at this point, I'm thinking to myself, you know, this character is pretty damn cool. Like, you know, in the first video, she was going trigger happy, and it was awesome. In this particular video, I'm seeing her again, and I'm kind of really starting to, you know, notice how, you know, good she looks. Like, her character design is really cool. You know, and so I can't deny that at this point, you know, after watching both these AMVs several times, and as I said in the chat group that I'm in, people also talked about it as being, you know, a really, you know, like, mind fuck of a show. So after that, I pretty much was like, you know what, I need to see what this show is about. Like, I really need to check this shit out. Like, I really do. And so I think after, like I said, after spamming both of those AMVs and hearing various people talk about it, I figured, fuck it, let me go ahead and give it a shot. So I just randomly watched it. And truth be told, the main reason that I was interested was obviously because of Mami, because at this point, that was the only thing about the series that I knew about. I knew there was a blonde girl who looked pretty nice, and you know she had a cool thing going on with guns. So I went into that, which is essentially just I essentially went and got into the show for her essentially. So I watched the anime. And another thing I like to mention is that really somebody who's into magical girl anime, this is probably maybe the second one that I saw. The first one was probably Sailor Moon. But anyways, I decided to watch it, and truth be told, I thought it was okay. If I'm being completely honest with you, when I first watched Madoka Magica, I didn't really think it was anything special. Like from the first 1 to 2 episodes, I was like, it's not bad. I mean, I think the blonde chick is interesting, but there's not much going on aside from that makes me feel like I should care, essentially. So after the second episode, I was like, you know what, this is not a bad series, but this is not really something that I think is really for me. So after I watched the first 2 episodes, I was kind of like, okay, I think I'm gonna stop watching or whatever. But somebody encouraged me, somebody in the actual chat that I mentioned, somebody actually encouraged me to keep watching the actual series, because something really mindfuck. Something was going to happen in the 3rd episode that I needed to see. The person was nice enough not to spoil it, so at the time I didn't know what they were talking about, but definitely because of the fact that, you know, because obviously, because once this person mentioned that something big was going to happen in the 3rd episode, other people in the chat agreed with her that, you know, it was a must watch episode. So I figured, okay, well, I've got nothing to lose by watching more of it, so I decided to watch the 3rd episode. And interestingly enough, when I was watching, and one thing that's really crazy about the 3rd episode of Madoka Magica is that if you're, like, for me, I didn't know what was going to happen, but I could tell from the atmosphere, there was something about the atmosphere of this episode that told you that some crazy shit was going to happen. Like, you could just feel it, you know? Like, did anybody else feel that way? Like, assuming that, you know, the 3rd episode wasn't spoiled for you, did you get, like, this feeling in the air that something crazy was going to happen? Like something, like, just something, like, there was something about the way that the episode was moving, you know, all these events, you know, with Homina or Mommy, all these, like, did you feel anything in the air that really made you feel like, holy fucking shit, something crazy is about to happen? Like, did you feel that way? But yeah, so, and interestingly enough, I had made a little bit of a prediction during this episode, and it was a really stupid prediction, but at the time, I didn't know anything about this series. I didn't know what the point of it was. I didn't know anything. I just knew that there was a blonde chick. She looked kind of good, and she was cool with the guns. That was mostly it. The first time I watched this series, that's what I thought. So at first, I was, the one thing that got my attention was when she and Madoka were talking, and as Madoka was telling Mommy what kind of wishes she wanted, Mommy was kind of, you know, like she had a smile on her face, but then the smile dropped, and then she kind of let go of Madoka's hand. I remember when I was watching this scene, I was thinking to myself, is this chick about to turn evil? Like, is she about to just, like, are we gonna see an evil side to her? Like, I was thinking about that in relationship to Mommy. I was like, what's going on? Because there's something not right about that. So my first thought, and I know it sounds ridiculous because obviously the series doesn't focus on that sort of thing, but as a newbie, as a person who's never watched, this was my thought. I was like, holy fucking shit, what's gonna happen here? So yeah, I thought Mommy was actually gonna turn evil. I thought she was gonna become like a bad guy or some bullshit like that. So yeah, so that's what I was thinking. And obviously, as the episode goes on, the thing I can't tell you how shocked I was. You know, obviously when the whole thing happened with Charlotte and you know, all that other stuff, but because, like I said, I wasn't expecting that. That's all that I can say. Like, I wasn't expecting that to happen. I had, and there was no way that I could have predicted that. Like the fact that she would just die. And I remember when I saw it, I was like, what? Really? And then when the episode closed, I was like, what? What the fuck? Really? Like, I honestly, like, it's the kind of thing where you just kind of like, it's like, what do you think? Like, it's like, what do you, like, I remember I was asking myself, okay, well, what? So that's pretty much it. I pretty much was flabbergasted. I didn't know what to think about that. I really didn't know. It was like, what is this? What? So, after that happened, and as you can imagine, because at this point, the only character in the series that I had any emotional investment toward was Mommy, and a lot of this was mostly this from the AMVs, and that's the other thing that made this weird, because when you watch the Dayman AMV, they really kind of give you the impression that Mommy is like very much involved in the series as a main character, like she's like in the entire series. But obviously, when you watch the anime, you realize that after episode 3, she's pretty much not in it at all, with the exception of maybe like a flashback episode, but that's it. But, yeah, man, so after that, you know, I really didn't know what to think about anything. I was like, what the fuck just happened here? So after this happened, I decided not to watch the anime for about a month. Like, I guess this was kind of me protesting in a way, because essentially I wasn't happy that they killed off, like the only character that I cared about. So I pretty much just went for, like, an entire month where all I did was rewatch the first 3 episodes of Madoka Magica. I guess in a way of kind of honoring Mommy's memory. And this is probably another reason why I ended up, like, loving her as much as I did, because as I said, I just essentially spammed the first 3 episodes for literally 1 fucking month. Before I decided to move on. And then one day I decided, you know, because I wanted to know what was going to happen next in the story after everything happened with Mom. Like, I wanted to know how the characters felt about it, you know, and how the story was going to move. So I ultimately said, you know what, I'm just curious. I want to see what happens next. I want to see how the girls deal with the fact that she died. So I watched episode 4, and you know, it was interesting. It was a weird transition. Like, one thing that I will say that episode 4 did really well is it was really able to capture the moments of like the aftermath of a tragedy, because like I was able to feel it. Like, there was something about seeing Madoka cry at the beginning, you know, thinking about what had happened, and there was something about her and Sayaka talking about what they witnessed and how they feel about, like, I was able to, it felt like I was there. Like I feel like they were really able to capture the feeling of uneasiness, like that was within the air after all that had happened. You know, it was very sobering, because like I said, the whole tone of the series really starts to change at this point, and as a new viewer, I totally felt it. It was really amazing. I was very impressed, and I was very much absorbed in the moment of that. And yeah, so I'm trying to remember what my thoughts were of the episode. I enjoyed the episode. I think what it was that you know, Madoka Magica has a way of just kind of hooking you into the story that's being told, because again, even though my favorite character was essentially, you know, gone, the way that the story was moving, you know, it's like after the events of her, you know, no longer being there, and seeing how the characters were feeling about it, and then seeing all the stuff that Sayaka was going through, you know, making the wish, the you know, everything as to how she felt about Kyosuke. I wanted to see how the story was going to continue, because it was interesting. You know, you just wanted to see, okay, Sayaka just made this decision, and so, like, what's going to happen to her? Like, what's going to happen? So it was just it was very compelling of a story that was being presented. So I just watched. Now, the next episode that really got my attention, because truth be told, episode 5 was kind of a blur to me, where Kyoko showed up. I mean, I don't remember, like, having much of a feeling for that, aside from the fact that the fight scene between her and Sayaka was pretty cool the first time that I watched it. But aside from that, I didn't really think too much of it. And so episode 6 was like a really big mindfuck episode for me. And the reason why it was a mindfuck was because obviously in this episode it looks like Sayaka dies. Like, she doesn't really die, but obviously they kind of give you this impression that she died, you know, when it came to her soul gem being away from her body. So at this point, I'm thinking to myself, God damn, like, this anime just killed off another character. What's wrong with this show? Like what? You know what I mean? Like just the fact that Mommy just died out of nowhere, and the fact that once again they're killing off somebody else. What is wrong with this show? I remember I asked myself that. What is wrong with this? What's going on here? But you know, it was. I mean, at this point, I think the best way that I can kind of like the best way that I can explain my feelings toward Madoka Magica is that it felt like watching a train wreck, I guess you can kind of say. It felt like watching a train wreck. You know, I think that was essentially the connection that I had with the show up to this point. It's basically like seeing a car, like, crash into, like, a tree or another car, and then it's like, you know, it's like the car then explodes, and then aside from the car exploding, maybe other people got caught up in the explosion, and obviously the scene becomes worse, and maybe the fire from the explosion of the car kind of catch fire, like maybe there's a tree that's not far from it, and the fire from the car kind of like ignites the tree, and then the tree is on fire, and then maybe you know, what I'm trying to say is that watching Madoka Magica to me was like watching a car wreck or like a car crash kind of like, you know, unfolding and just essentially getting worse and worse. And obviously if you're a spectator and you see this crash happen, then you can't help but kind of like, you know, watch it. Like you can't help but be like, oh my fucking god, what is that? Did you see what just happened there? So essentially that's what Madoka Magica was to me, you know, for the from episode 3 all the way to the end. I was essentially watching because it just felt like I was watching a scene of carnage that was just getting worse and worse and worse. And before I knew it, you know, because for the most part there wasn't really anything else very memorable that I could think of. I just know that I was just watching every episode with bated breath because I was just watching like tragedy. I was watching something just getting worse and worse and worse. And yeah, so that's essentially what the series was for me the first time around. And I'll also say that, you know, I didn't understand everything about Madoka Magica the very first time I watched it. You know, I feel like Madoka is one of those kind of shows that you have to watch more than once in order to really understand and appreciate what the story is presenting to you. At least that's what I got out of it. So I know for a fact that after I watched it the first time, I watched it a few more times. And it's funny because when I think back, it kind of felt like I was rewatching Madoka Magica unconsciously, like it was just something that I just did without really thinking about it. And before I knew it, I realized, you know, this is actually an anime that I know really well. And before I knew it, I was also watching the English dub version of Madoka Magica as well too. And like I said, it's just one of those things that before I knew it, it had become my favorite anime. I had watched it so much. There's something about the tragedy and the direction that the story went into. Something about it was just so gripping and so compelling that, you know, I just couldn't get enough of it. And to this day, you know, it's like 4 or 5 years after I watched it, I still watch Madoka Magica occasionally, like a lot. Like sometimes I'll just marathon it, and I'll talk about it with people. Like you know, this was a show that I even introduced to my mother. Like I showed it to her. I showed it to my best friend in real life. I talk about it with people on Skype or on YouTube. You know, this is a show I have done so many things in my life that is connected to this show. So, like I said, the Madoka Magica has really, from the moment that I watched it, it has really it just really brought something to my life that was never there previously. My respect for magical girl animes like totally went up after that. You know, because one thing I'll say about Madoka is that before I watched it, I was kind of like a shonen boy. I was mostly into only watching shonen animes. But this was the first anime that really made me see female characters in a different light. You know, because obviously because of the fact that Madoka is filled with essentially just girls as main characters, you really kind of, at least for me, I really just grew more respect for you know, girls like in main character roles like that. So yeah, the series is very revolutionary in that regard. But yeah, so I think that's essentially my story, how I got into it. As I said, I got into it because of 2 AMVs, and then from there, I basically, what attracted me to it was just really the tragedy aspect of it, all the way that the story was unfolding, and just everything just getting worse and worse with the characters, and the more that you understand about the world and what's going on. So yeah, that's essentially my story. But I want to hear what you guys, how you guys got into Madoka Magica. Right in the comments below, how did you yourself get into the series? And you know, be sure to go into detail, because obviously in this video I went into a lot of detail. I focused a lot on the origin and all this other stuff. So you know, make sure that you let me know, and I'll be sure to read, and yeah, and hopefully we'll have a nice discussion about that as well too. Yeah, so if you enjoyed this video, let me know, and yeah, subscribe to my YouTube channel for more Madoka Magica content I upload every Friday. My goal is to provide you with entertainment as well as engaging, discussions or whatever, like videos that are all Madoka Magica related. So, with that said, I'll catch you later. Peace out. This is Mommy Sexual signing out. Bye.